everybody. As you can see, today is service day on the sprayer. We need to change oil on this thing, change the filters, fuel filter, grease it, check the tire pressure. I gotta look at screens. I don't know if I'm quite ready to de-winterize it or unwinterize it, but we're getting close. But I do want to get the fluids changed in this thing and get it serviced and get it ready, so when I do unwinterize it, it's ready to go, with the exception of getting it unwinterized. You know what I mean. And that's not a huge deal. That's a matter of draining out the antifreeze that's in the system, putting water in there, unfolding the booms, making sure everything sprays like it's supposed to spray. So yeah, that's kind of what unwinterizing it is. It's not that hard to unwinterize something. It's harder to winterize it than unwinterize it. Does that make sense? But yeah, this is what we're working on today. I already noticed something. There's supposed to be an orange lens on there, like this one over here. I'll show you. See that? Who knows where that went? It's probably on the side of the road somewhere, and I just didn't realize we lost it. So I am gonna have to get a new orange lens on that, make sure that light works, because it's a little on the rusty side there, but we'll see. Gotta check the lights. We don't really spray at night, but it is helpful to have all the hazards working on a piece of equipment, because of the fact that there's a lot of idiots out there that apparently can't see a machine this size. You'd be surprised. It happens more often than you think. I know this is going to sound petty of me. I get it. But this happens like 3 times a week, and it just chaps my butt. I hate it. We have a wide driveway right here for our equipment coming in and out. And about 3 times a week, someone pulls up here with a truck and trailer and realizes, oh crap, we can't turn around anywhere. So they turn around and they back into our driveway to turn around to leave, because this is a dead-end road. That drives me nuts. It is not a turnaround. I feel like putting a sign out there saying, driveway scattered with nails, turn around at your own risk. I bet you that might deter some people. I don't know. And it'd be one thing if someone pulled up, seen me standing here and roll the window down and say, hey, can I turn around real quick in your driveway? Rock on, dude. I don't care. But to just pull up and just automatically assume you can do it with someone standing there? No. It's just a courtesy thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm being petty, but it irks me. And I know most of you are probably going, oh, it's just a turnaround, no big deal, blah, blah, blah. You're not getting it. Let me paint a picture for you. This is gravel and mud, and it's wet out. So whenever you back in, you're creating a tire track, which is not a big deal. But when they stop and you turn your wheels to go out, well, when you turn your wheels, this stuff scuffs the ground up enough to where it leaves a divot, which pockets water, which then turns into a pothole. But no, I go out there with a loader or the skid steer or something, and I grade it and level it off so it doesn't create a pocket and a pothole. But people don't realize that. That's time and money that I take to level off the driveway, because people just assume they can turn around and create a pothole right there. So you get what I'm getting at. It's a snowball effect. And it just kind of, I don't know, it irks me, because people don't look at the big picture when they do something. You know, it's everything you do affects somebody else. It doesn't matter what you do, it's going to affect somebody's life at some point from the decisions that you make to do. Asking for permission to do something is not that hard to do. And 9 times out of 10, someone's going to let you do it because you're asking permission. But to just do it and not ask, especially when I'm standing here, it's different if I'm not here and I don't see anybody do it. Yeah, it's like whatever. But if I'm standing right here in this opening looking at you, why wouldn't you just ask if you can turn around real quick rather than just assuming you could do it? I don't know. Enough of a rant. Let's go back to working on the sprayer. I know I probably don't sound like I normally sound. I got a little bit of a head cold going on, but don't worry, I'm getting better. You should have heard me a couple days ago. It was bad. But I want to show you guys this. A friend of mine picked up a contract hauling waste from the waste management plants this summer, and that's what he's going to be doing. So he went and picked up the trailer yesterday. So look at this trailer. That thing's massive, isn't it? So he'll be hauling this all summer long, hauling waste out of there. And what they do is they take it from the waste management plants and take it to a farmer's field where it gets pumped off of this truck into a tank that's pulled behind a tractor, and the tractor injects it into the field so there's no smell and things like that, and the farmers get the benefit of the fertilizer aspect of it. So in the future, if you hear me talk about this truck, I have named this truck the Turd Tugger. So if you hear me say the Turd Tugger in any of the future videos, this is what I'm talking about. It's quite the rig. You can see, I mean, that's quite the valve right there for the turds. So yeah, there's the Turd Tugger. All right, I ran home, grabbed some lunch, and I'm sitting there eating my plate of food, and I'm thinking to myself, again, this is the goofy crap that rolls around in my head, but I'm sitting there thinking as I'm eating my plate, I'm like, you know, it's odd how you actually eat your food. Because I had a big heaping pile, and I started digging through the center, eating it from this middle out. Well, I'm like, I wonder how many people eat their pile of food from the middle out, or do they start at the edge and work their way across the plate? I don't know. That's one of those things that was rattling around in my head. I do have the oil changed in this thing, the oil filter changed, the air filter's changed. I blew the radiator out. I do need to still check the tire pressures, but I also have to grease it. And this has a lot of grease fittings on it because of the fact that it is an air ride suspension. So this airbag, if you look, this is like a cylinder. This metal right here slides in and out of this tube and comes up here onto those airbags. So as you're going over bumps, this tire is moving up and down, and the actual frame of the sprayer is not. So the tires are moving through the field like this while the sprayer is staying smooth. So there's a lot of grease fittings. There's one here, there's a bunch here on the turning area, you've got the cylinder for the power steering, and on this side it has this like A-frame mechanism here for allowing it to stay in place but still squish back and forth. Squish, is that a word? But yeah, there's a grease fitting here, and on the other side as well. And then, you know, there's a lot of grease fittings on here. The back, there's not as much on the back because you don't have the turning capability in the back as you do in the front. You still have the A-frame system back here to grease, and you still got that slide to grease. But in the back, everywhere it hinges up here on the spray booms is a grease fitting, and then there's grease fittings here where it folds in and out, and there's a grease fitting up there where the other extension folds out. So there is a lot of grease fittings on this machine. And from what we're told from the John Deere dealer is this is a very vital, this whole air ride system is vital to keep greased, because if it doesn't get greased and something gets bound in there and you got to replace it, it's very, very expensive. Naturally, because it's got the John Deere name on it. But at any rate, I am going to grab the grease gun and 4 billion tubes of grease and start getting cracking on that. All right, got her all greased. Everything's done on it. The booms are not done yet because I gotta unfold the thing to grease the booms. So I'm gonna wait until I unwinterize it, de-winterize it, whatever you want to call it, because the booms get unfolded. But I checked the service records of this machine, and this is due to have the hub oil changed in the wheels here. And it takes 1.5 quart, 1.4 quarts per hub, and it takes 8540 gear lube. So yeah, on a cooler day like today, that's gonna come out like molasses. So I'm getting everything ready and around. I just moved the sprayer now to where you got to do it to where it says, the hub says top right here, where you're straight up. You pour it in here, you drain it out of this hole, your oil level's here. So drain it out. Once it's drained out, you pull this plug out and this plug out, you fill here, and when the oil level gets up to this, then you put the plug back in and you're done. It's pretty simple. It's just, you got to do it 4 times. All right, let's see how nasty this is. Not as bad as I thought it'd be, but you can see how slow it's pouring out of there. It's just like syrup. I'm like 10 minutes into this and it's still draining. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another bucket and start draining that back one while I'm filling this one. This hub is complete, done. Famis, whatever, you know that word. And I pulled the plug on the back one. While I was doing that one, I pulled the back one to drain, and this one, the gear oil is a lot darker. You can see it right there, and it's still slowly dripping. But in the book for this machine, it says these hubs take 1.4 quarts. I put like 1.1 quarts in there and it was overflowing. So I don't know if the Deere book is just a rough guesstimate or what. Or maybe that's 1.4 completely dry and I just didn't get everything drained out because it's cooler out today. But I don't know. We'll see what this one takes, I guess, when I put oil back in this one. While I'm still allowing this to drain, it's still slowly dripping. I went back and was looking at my previous clips a few clips ago, and I made a mistake. It doesn't take 8540, it takes 85140 gear lube. That was my bad. So I backed the sprayer up so I can get some of the smaller equipment in for the night. I figured I'd just do the last two hubs tomorrow. But come here, I want to show you something. When I was backing up, it stopped. I got out, I looked at the hubs. Look at that. Perfect. Now the back one, on the other hand, that's completely opposite. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that drain plug, and then I'll just let it drain and drip all night long That way it'll be completely drained by the time I get here in the morning, and then I can fill this hub, move the machine forward to get the back one correct, and then drain the back one. I think I'll do that because it takes so long to drain the stuff. I'll just drain it overnight, and that way we'll be set. Alright guys, I think I've babbled enough on this one. I was on the phone there for a while, so I really couldn't give you a good closing. So, alright, I'm heading home to work on a motorcycle and call it a day, I guess, on the farm. Thanks for watching.